Hi everyone. This video is going to be a lot different from my usual content because I originally started writing a script for why art is important for an INTJ, and something about the script just didn't feel right. Then there was this one morning where I woke up and I just started writing, and the result of that morning writing session is this video. This video is going to be one of the most authentic video you will ever see me make. To be completely honest, this video might get demonetized, and I really don't care. It's going to go over very deep topics such as mental health, but I honestly believe this is the best way to present what I want to say about this topic. This video is broken down into two sections. The first section is my internal monologue. Think of it as an introduction to the rest of the video. And the second part of the video is the core of the video, talking about why art is important to mental health. I'll timestamp below where that second section will begin, just in case you get tired or you don't want to hear about why I decided to talk about section 2. The topic about mental health is extremely important to me. And if you have been watching my channels for a long time, you understand that that is something that I don't play around with. I hope you're all aware that sadness is not type specific, and just because you're a certain type doesn't make you immune to sadness. So if you or someone you know are thinking about hurting yourself or someone that you care about, just understand that the United States has a prevention hotline, and it's extremely easy to remember. Just dial 988. Wherever you are in the United States, 988 will take you to the prevention hotline. As a person who can empathize with what you're going through, just understand that what you're feeling right now, all those negative emotions, are temporary, and those feelings too will pass. Everyone watching this video, don't forget to take care of all your loved ones, and most importantly, don't ever forget to take care of yourself. At the time of writing this, it's currently 5:43 a.m. in the morning. I woke up with this feeling of sadness. I don't know where it came from, but what I do know is that it's here. Tears keep leaking from my eyes like a broken faucet, and I don't know why. I don't know why I woke up so early, and I don't know why I'm so emotional. I just don't know why. I'm sitting in a nook in the hallway, in between the kitchen and the living room. The sink is filled with dirty dishes, and the stove has pots that still need to be washed. Although the sun is shining through the shadeless windows, I see and feel no warmth. All I feel is my emotion right now. All I feel is this undetermined source of sadness. I just don't know why. When I realized earlier that I was unable to fall back asleep, I turned on my phone to try to ease my mind. I scrolled through Reddit for a few minutes, but got exhausted from the negative news about the world. I went on Instagram to watch reels from my friends and got exhausted trying to be happy for them. I went on TikTok hoping the algorithm will make me laugh, but instead led me to a 5-minute clip from Bob's Burger, a show that I've seen a few times but never actually watched consistently. In this clip, one of the daughter, Louise, won a poetry contest and was asked to read it to an audience. She enters a poem every year as a joke, and this is the first year she entered a real poem that mattered, and it won. She was too embarrassed to tell the family that she wrote something serious, and it showed through her expression when asked by her older sister Tina. She asked her family to attend the reading, but they all had prior commitments since it was the holidays, and both her siblings had performances that they were part of as well. It sounds like the entire family would miss Louise's performance, but her older sister Tina realized how important it was for her family to be there. Tina made the conscious decision to leave the play that she was performing in to make it in time to see the performance of her younger sister. I realized halfway watching that 5-minute video clip that I was crying, like full-on ugly mode crying. Everything about the 5-minute scene made me emotional, starting from the moment that Louise realized that she was too embarrassed to share with her family that she won the contest by writing a poem that was heartfelt, to her father running around in circles and getting lost trying to make the reading, only to have to settle making it to the performance of their son, to her mom being torn living in two worlds where she wanted to leave her own performance to make Louise's performance, but the person that she was working with kept begging her to stay, to the older sister Tina making the conscious decision to leave her own play because being there for her younger sister is more important. It felt good to cry. The show played this ethereal background song during the clip that really helped set the tone. I found the song on Spotify and it's been on repeat for the past hour. A song with no lyrics, only melody. A song that I heard for the first time an hour ago is now in full control of my emotions, and I willingly relinquish control. The past hour I've been reminiscing on things that brings me joy, past and present. Thoughts of my family came and went. My cat struggled as I tried to cuddle with her, and memories of things that don't exist anymore kept popping in my head. I remember watching videos of flash mobs dancing randomly in front of strangers at the earlier year of the internet and wanting to be part of one. I never ended up doing it. It was a dream for younger John, but older John doesn't care about it much anymore. I remember this website called Gives Me Hope. Where's the positive version of the website, FML? It was Twitter before Twitter was a thing, and I remember just reading all these comments from random strangers on the internet talking about something positive that happened in their life that gave them the strength and hope to continue living. I then remembered my love for poetry and decided that I should write out my feelings. Instead of thinking about the style and format like I usually do, I just started typing. And after about 30 minutes, I arrived to this exact moment in time. The original plan was to write a poem, but what came out was this short story. A story that people that clicked off of this video probably thought was nonsense, but the people that stayed, you felt something. Regardless of whether it was confusion as to why I made a video like this, or empathy with the ability to understand the feeling that came and went for me, you knew I felt something. Whether it's through my expression through words, my expression with the visuals chosen, or the melody in the song that I intend on choosing to play in the background to set the tone. This is the beauty of art. Art transcends time. It ascends physical limitations. Art can lift the spirit of those who listen and can just as easily demolish hope. Art can be used to express millions of emotion a person feels but lack the energy or wherewithal to speak. The clip from Bob's Burger is an art masterpiece that made me ugly cry. The song from the clip kept me sane in my moment of vulnerability. The website Gives Me Hope helped me keep my faith in humanity, and the flash mob videos provided me inspiration that I can become more than who I am today. Art is important. The purpose of this video isn't to define what art is, because art in itself is undefinable since it manifests itself in so many different ways. But there is one truth when it comes to art, and that art doesn't have to make sense. The easiest way to explain that art doesn't have to make sense is by looking at music. There are music styles that each person is drawn to, and there are music styles that sounds like nails on a chalkboard. Me personally, I can't stand reggae music because it's too repetitive, but I love trance music, which is just as repetitive, if not more. That doesn't mean that one style of music is art whereas the other isn't just because of my own personal preference. It only means that I like one type of music more than another. And that logic carries over to all aspects of art. I myself will marvel at bridges every time I pass by one, because most bridges are artistic masterpieces to me. Some of you may be confused because you might be thinking that bridges aren't considered art, but for me, it is. A person had to put all the mathematical equations together to ensure that the bridge will be built correctly, so that the bridge can handle a certain weight load, so that the bridge can handle nature's wrath, so that the bridge won't degrade after a certain amount of usage. All the equations and all the science has to align in order to create a final product. And the result is a masterpiece that is not only a wonder to behold, but also has a functional use. How is that different from someone painting a portrait? The artist will have to figure out all the colors needed. The artist will have to figure out the best canvas to use. The artist will have to figure out what the best way to portray beauty is. All of these things need to align in order to create a final product. And the result is a masterpiece, not only because it's a beauty to witness, but also because it has a functional use to provide aesthetics to where it lives. However, the importance of art is not a result of its functional use, or because it falls into a predetermined category of what is art, but instead it is able to invoke an emotional response from the person witnessing the masterpiece. Art has the ability to elicit and guide emotions. The late great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. gave a speech that has a rippling effect that transcends time. His speech, now known as the "I Have a Dream" speech, for face value are only words, but the emotional effect it has the moment his words kissed our ears and made its way to hug our hearts have left an everlasting impression. Not only did it bring hope to millions of Americans suffering, but it also helped bandage a wound our nation is still healing from today. Similar to the Mona Lisa, which is considered an artistic masterpiece, the world is still admiring Dr. King's speech. In this example, the words of Dr. King is art. Art manifests itself in so many different ways. It has so many different canvases. Whether it's through the usage of word by comedic performances, through the form of cinematic movies, through the intensity of physical activities such as sports, through literature, or one of my favorite, through video games. I still get emotional when I hear the theme song of a character from the game Final Fantasy VII that was taken away from us way too early in the game. I won't forget the emotional dilemma that Joel went through at the end of the first Last of Us video game, where he had to decide whether to save his adopted daughter or potentially sacrifice her to save humanity. And I'll never forget the emotional torture that Lara Croft went through in the Tomb Raider remake the first time she had to take another person's life to save her own. I love the fact that I'm able to experience someone else's expression of the world, that a person isn't only limited to the constraint of a certain canvas, but instead, the type of canvases used for expression is limitless. I can still feel the pain that Chester Bennington from the band Linkin Park expressed through his lyrics and his songs. I still get emotional anytime I hear Avicii on the radio, and I still get excited when I hear someone shoot a basketball and yell, "Kobe!" These examples are from influential artists to me that passed away way before their time, but their names will live indefinitely through the memories of those affected by their art. I, myself, am not physically or emotionally expressive, but I love to write. Writing has always been my form of emotional expression, my form of emotional release. Words have always been important to me, and I've been writing poetry ever since I was able to make out words. And if you can't tell by now yet, creating videos is my creative and emotional outlet. When you're watching my videos, I'm not trying to educate you. That's never been my priority. You're instead experiencing my art piece. I'm a person who can't imagine life without music, because when it hits, music hits differently. My niece made fun of me once saying that I always look angry when I drive. I do, but it's not because I'm angry, but because the music that I have on is so good that I can't help but make a face. My taste in music is a variety, not only because music is pleasing to my senses, but it has the ability to guide me through my emotions. Whenever I'm having a tough day, I will play a song that matches my emotion, because at that moment, the world is too much to handle. So I don't care who the music is by, whether it's by Billie Eilish, Shania Twain, Paul McCartney, or a random TikToker that just blew up, because the song that I'm listening to will help guide me through my emotional struggle. I envy the type of people that can easily identify their feelings and say that this is the emotion that they're going through at this moment. Some people can't do that. I can't do that. People get confused when they're around me and I play a song that's very slow and very emotional. A fair assumption that's commonly made is that the song will lead me to a tunnel full of sadness. What they don't know is that I'm already in the tunnel, and the song is a light guiding me out. The song is holding my hand, telling me not to give up, and that we'll make it out together. The song manifests itself into my guardian angel, and this feeling isn't unique to just music. I get the same feeling when I witness a masterpiece from the undisputed greatest artist of all time, Mother Nature. I can't tell you how many times watching a sunrise has resuscitated me back to consciousness, and I lost track of how often a sunset reminded me that yes, I am strong enough to have survived another day. Art is great when we're at our best. It can enhance our emotions, such as the right song playing that makes you want to dance, a movie or show that you watch that you will forever quote, or something that you tattoo on yourself so that it becomes part of who you are. But art manifests itself differently when you're at your worst. It reminds us that we're not alone and informs us that our feelings, the one that we're going through right now, is not unique to us, but has been felt by others. It reminds us that we're part of a community, and that community is humanity. Art can help us get through our worst times such as depression. The late American novelist David Foster Wallace described the feeling of not wanting to be alive the best when he wrote the following. The so-called psychologically depressed person who tries to unalive herself doesn't do so out of the quote, hopelessness, or an abstract conviction that life's assets and debits do not square, and surely not because death seems suddenly appealing. The person in whom its invisible agony reaches a certain unendurable level will unalive herself the same way a trapped person will eventually jump from the window of a burning high-rise. Make no mistake about people who leap from burning buildings. Their terror of falling from a great height is still just as great as it would be for you or me standing speculatively at the same window just checking out the view. The fear of falling remains a constant. The variable here is the other terror, the fire's flame. When the flame gets close enough, falling to death becomes a slightly less terrible of the two terrors. It's not desiring to fall, it's terror of the flames. And yet, nobody on the sidewalk looking up or yelling, "Don't," or "Hang on," can understand a jump. Not really. You have to personally have been trapped and felt flames to really understand a terror way beyond falling. There will be some of you confused watching this video as to why I inserted this quote, because I acknowledge this quote is depressing. And then there will be the rest of you who understands, because you felt it through his words, because at one point in your life, you were the person on top of a burning high-rise. What he wrote is poetry. This is the power of art. To some of us, art is the reason why we decide to hold off from jumping even when we feel the increased intensity of the flames. And for others, art is able to extinguish the flames. Art has the ability to heal wounds invisible to therapy or medication. German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche has a very famous quote about art that I love. For art to exist, for any sort of aesthetic activity to exist, a certain physiological precondition is indispensable: intoxication. Intoxication in this context does not talk about the effect of drugs or alcohol, since Nietzsche has been known for being against alcohol consumption. What he means by intoxication in this context is a person who is so focused that they are completely consumed by their work. There are so many words that can describe that feeling, such as flow state, trance, ecstasy, the runner's high, but it all means the same thing: the ability to focus on nothing except for the here and now. Art allows the user to live in the present, to not have to worry about past mistakes, and to ignore the uncertainty of the future. As mentioned earlier, art can also be used when we're at our best, such as accomplishment ceremonies, or bonding with your child over the love of the same movie. Concerts provide a reason to unwind and build lifelong memories with your closest friends, and stargazing during a clear night sky allows you the opportunity to take a chance on your first kiss. Art can be found anywhere and is everywhere. Art defines a culture and is a tool used for self-healing or self-expression. If there's one takeaway that I hope you received after watching this video, it's that as long as we continue to support and allow artistic freedom, you will never truly be alone.